This is what modernism is. It's a cult of the self. And it began with things like that. It began with things in the culture. And then gradually you got radio. And you had things like the War of the Worlds, telling people that they've been invaded by aliens. And then, of course, television comes along. And it's beamed directly into people's living rooms. Your whole family is enchanted by these spectacles that take place. And it becomes a daily ritual. Now, of course, we've got the Black Mirror. Now, you might not be aware that the thing that you stare into all day, this phone, this little black mirror, it performs a function that's practically identical to a cursed polished obsidian stone used by the Aztecs, who did not exactly dignify themselves by their humane and progressive practices. What I'm trying to tell you here is that the way our system has developed to rule us, you and me, by supplying make-believe through mass media, now relies on a polished black mirror that used to be called the totem of the god of the smoking mirror. And the Aztecs said that if you looked into this mirror, it would give you the power of vision. Stare into black mirror. Give you power over other men. See further than other men. But it did. It said that. It said you could see further than everyone else. It said you would see across the world. It would grant you these visionary powers. Anyone who stared into a polished piece of occult-infused obsidian. It's a very black, deep stone. When you polish it, it does look like it reflects you somewhat, but it doesn't quite reflect you truly. And this is the point. It gives you the ability to see across the world, but it also lies to you. And that's what the Aztecs said. And that's what our black mirrors do today. They grant you this supernatural power of connecting with people and events all over the world. But the problem is that you no longer know whether any or all of it or some of it is real. But by the time you've absorbed it, you've already attached your feelings to it. The neurochemistry that's triggered by you watching and seeing and liking and swiping these things has already taken place. And the fact that I'm telling you this now is probably not going to stop you from scrolling through it again, because you're addicted to it, because it is an enormously alluring power. But you should remember that you should never trust these things. You should look at them with a sense, if you like, of a shadow that you can't lose. Now, if you ever turn around and look at your own shadow, you'll probably realize that you can't see your own face in it. I would suggest that that's quite an apt metaphor for where we are today with the rule by media and the way that these images dominate your mind. And the fact that it's a good idea that you shouldn't rely on them. It's not a depressing thing to say. You shouldn't rely on this stuff. You shouldn't try and keep up with the endless stream of unedited shock bait that social media, what a terrible thing to call this thing, so-called social media pipelines into your mind like a jet stream of volcanic lava. It simply burns a hole directly through your head, right? Straight out of the back, right? Leaving you with the kind of cancelled eyes that William Burroughs would have described in Naked Lunch and Some Doomed Junkie. If you look at the kind of people who are patterned on social media, the kind of people who've grown up with it, if you look at the kind of people who have grown up with it, yeah, I mean, not saying anything, not saying anything, Walter. Yeah, I know that you look at me with that face, like not just now, not just constantly, not just, you don't just love doing it. You just don't display any emotion when you do it. That's the point. You're affectless, right? And I think that's because your mind has been burned out by being over-socialized on a constant stream of ringing digital bells. You're like a Pavlovian dog that's forgotten the joy of drooling. I'm trying to tell you that, yes, this evil system, it's ruled you by media. It started off in the print age, and then it grew up in the mass newspaper, cinema reel age. It went viral with radio in one sense, in television in another, and now it's in your pocket and it's in your mind, and you look at it in bed and you look at it when every spare moment that you get, you whip out the black mirror and vanish into its promises and its lies. And this is a good thing to realize, that these things, they're not going to save you, and they're not keeping you better informed. And nor is this going to be the future for all time either, because we will quickly realize, as we are now, that this isn't a guide to the world, that its explanatory power is not just limited. It's hedged around by the fact that you're basically making a pact with the uncertain. You're feeding your mind the kind of junk food that you wouldn't pick up in the supermarket. You're probably very picky about what kind of food that you buy. You're probably very aware that most of it actually isn't food. It's just a kind of byproduct, kind of industrial waste, well packaged, rather like most of our news is as well, to be honest. It's a byproduct of a kind of death industry that's really well branded and given to you as a sort of filler. Now you've got to ask yourself, who's supplying the hunger? If you stop doing this for a while, if you stop being addicted to anything for a while, it hurts. And the power to do it is a struggle between your ability to tolerate that agony for long enough for it to fade away. The reason why it hurts, the reason why you desperately need to do that thing again, whether it's inject yourself with heroin, or go gambling, or snort coke, or go back on your phone, or whatever it is that you're addicted to, because our entire economy is a Ponzi scheme of monetized addictions, in case you haven't noticed that. I'm sorry to spoil it for you. And by the way, I've also been told that in the end, we die. I know it's bad. I mean, I did say it was an optimistic video, but there it is. I'm afraid I can't change that for you, but there it is. So, if you realize this, that the reason why it's painful, it will occur to you that what you've done is you've grown cells in your brain that have become accustomed to these rewards. And you need to give those cells time to die. And as they die, it hurts.
Hi everyone, this is John Henry Weston for LifeSite News. We hope you found this video insightful. For more content like this, be sure to check out the links in the description below. You can also follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest news concerning life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.